Just don't look. So, again, mentioning the media meme updates. Henry Mako has a new article on something we've touched on from time to time that, again, has been fairly well documented. This is actually written by L.C. Vincent, but it's on henrymako.com. Henry, M-A-K-O-W. Network news, seeing through Illuminati eyes. Of course, with the CBS logo up at the top, you may think it's a basketball, football, and baseball, but of course, it's a big, all-seeing eye staring at you. After World War II, with the emergence of 3 rival television networks, each with their own news departments, most Americans would have argued that the new age of television would grant them a multiplicity of sources and viewpoints. Yet from their very inception, all 3 TV networks have been guided by men who are a product of and beholden to America's intelligence agencies. From the beginning, the men who ran ABC, CBS, and NBC, as well as those sitting on their board of directors, had the deepest ties to the Central Intelligence Agency, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Rothschild Banks, and the Rockefeller Foundation. From the very beginning, the U.S. news media has been designed to promote the New World Order agenda, guided by the light of the Illuminati, the illuminated ones. This is why network newscasts are virtually identical. 3 networks. You could, of course, argue many more than that, but one master. Late controversial investigative reporter Eustace Mullins noted that CBS chairman William S. Paley was both conduit and operative for the CIA. Many directors of CBS had CIA ties. NBC and ABC TV networks were also riddled with CIA and Rothschild Banks linked directors. Yet even without these overlapping network directorships, the CIA made a concerted effort to not simply shade and tilt news stories, but to actively recruit journalists to quash stories or to distort and selectively bias the presentation of stories. This article goes on as we make a mockery of the news, and the code name for this whole work that we're discussing here was called Operation Mockingbird. You can go read about it on Wikipedia. A mockingbird, of course, is a creature with a natural gift to mimic or mirror whatever song another bird makes, or your car alarm. So, too, the CIA's embedded reporters, editors, and owners would mirror whatever particular slant the agency wished the general public to perceive, according to author Steve Kangas in his article Anatomy of the Overclass. The CIA recruited 25 media organizations and over 400 reporters and journalists to do their bidding since the late 40s. Of course, the Central Intelligence Agency being established by the National Security Act of 1947. They gave us the CIA and the NSA, and much of what Eisenhower said as he was going out, even almost 2 decades later. We should have guarded against the acquisition of influence from the military-industrial complex. And of course, as we're going to, I believe, mention here as we run down a quick list, one of the other heads, connected guys in Time Magazine, Loose, Skull and Bones, CIA, Wall Street, the old boys, if you will. All of this, again, referencing the 25 media organizations, 400 reporters and journalists, this all came out to the church in 1975, and many felt that the agency's reach went even deeper. So the quick list of some of the folks we'll mention: the aforementioned William Paley, president of CBS Network; Philip and Catherine Graham of the Washington Post Bilderberg attendees; Henry Luce, publisher, Time and Life; Arthur Hayes Sulzberger of the New York Times; Jerry O'Leary of the Washington Star, which I'm not even sure that exists anymore. A big one that should be researched for you: C.D. Jackson and Fortune. Walter Pincus, reporter for the Washington Post, who still writes to this day all of their intelligence reports. So this article does have the sources at the bottom. Who owns the network TVs? Eustace Mullins article. More on Operation Mockingbird, Controlled Media Research. The Taking of America by Richard E. Sprague. And we'll note, again, as someone does at the bottom of this article, about Project Censored doing good work to bring out the stories that don't get covered or even actively get covered up on the corporate-controlled media. And again, that's what this is all about. That's why we're using the free and open web such as we have it right now. And we'll use whatever bells and whistles and social networking gadgets to spread this kind of information. Because again, forewarned is forearmed. But I don't want to digress into all that about what may or may not be coming down, what may or may not be inevitable, what may or may not be prophecy, God's will, meant to be, predictive programming. I think I've mentioned that hopefully, fortunately, a place like Portland, Oregon can hopefully be well suited to weather the worsening storms as far as the ability to connect community and food and all of those things. But let's get through the rest of the media memes updates that, again, are posted up alongside the broadcast TV viewership hits record low article. We've mentioned time and time again, and we've played the clip probably at least once or twice for you here in the last almost 4 years of Media Monarchy live on the air. On the air. There was a video game called Shattered Union, which basically seemed to lay out a possible scenario for these disunited states. Shattered Union. Predictive programming on a number of levels. But now we have another entry into desensitization gaming. And wouldn't you know it, it's called Homefront.
The torpedo that sunk the Cheonan and took the lives of 46 South Korean sailors was fired by a North Korean submarine.
North Korea's weapons program